YouTube, Biker Mike here, back out in the Biker Mike shop. Today I'm going to be doing the first oil change on my 2021 Can-Am Outlander 850 XT. So I've only got .436 kilometers on it and 14.5 hours. So I'm probably pretty early with this oil change, but I just thought I'd be extra cautious with it, and I'll probably do another oil change at 1,000 kilometers. And I'm also going to do a full chassis lube on this, so I'm going to show you where all the grease points are and how to get at those. So I already purchased the oil change kit right from the dealer. A few things you're going to need for this job are one of these auto body style rivet tools, a T20 and a T30 Torx bit, along with a T30 Torx socket. And I'm going to use this tool with a 7/16 wrench to get out the one oil filter bolt. It's going to make it a lot easier. Magnetic tool is always good to have when you're working on something in case you drop one of those little parts. Phillips screwdriver, a 17mm socket, your ratchet, a few extensions, gloves, a rag, some brake clean, obviously the oil change kit. So I'm going to get going here and show you how to start off. So I'll start by removing the seat. There's just a little lever back here at the back. Pull up on that, seat comes right off. Then I'm going to remove this cowling here. So you just pull up at the bottom and then slide it straight out. Now I've got a wiring harness on here, so I'm just going to set it off to the side. But if you don't have anything wired up to it, you can just move it right out of the way. Next up, I'm going to grab a T20 Torx bit and remove the bezel around the dash. Then I'm just going to move the display out of the way. Then with the display carefully out of the way, you can pop off this shroud. Just pull up at the back and then unhook it from the front. And just keep it off to the side like that. Next up, we need to remove this whole panel off the side. So use the rivet tool on the plastic rivets. Then there's a small Phillips screw up here at the front, just remove that. And way back here at the back of the machine, there's another plastic rivet way back up in here. It's kind of hard to get at. Hopefully you can see this. And just pop that out. And then there's 3 rivets back here you need to remove. One down there, one right there, one right there, and actually a 4th one up here too. So I'm going to remove all 4 of those. I'm also going to remove this little cover just to aid in removing the side panel. Okay, so we got those 4 plastic rivets out of the way. We can carefully remove the side panel. Now, I'm not exactly sure 100% what's the total right way to do this, but I've been kind of playing around with it and kind of figured out that you need to push down on this up here, unhook it from there, and then carefully pry it back and up and out of the way. Okay, so we're down here under the right side of the ATV, and you can see on the bottom of the engine, that bolt right there is the drain bolt, and you can access it through a little hole in the skid plate with your 17mm socket. And obviously just position your drain pan underneath when you loosen that and let it drain out. Okay, while that's draining, I'm going to clean up the drain plug. You can see there's a magnet and there's a tiny bit of metal filings on there. Like I said, I haven't put too much time on this ATV, so I'm probably kind of early with this. But I'm just going to do it again in another 500 kilometers. So I'm going to clean this up. Okay, so with the drain plug perfectly cleaned, I'm going to get rid of the old crush washer and get the new one from the kit and install it so it's ready to go back in. Next up, I'm going to get the oil filter out. So to remove the oil filter, it's going to be a little tricky. That's where I came up with this idea. So this is the trickiest bolt to get out of all of them. So I'm going to use the T30 Torx bit with the wrench on this Torx driver. I'm just going to crack it loose with the wrench and then turn it by hand. And same thing with the top one. And then for the back one, back there, I came around here and I used a bungee cord just to pull this cover back a bit where those 3 rivets were holding it in. And then I'm going to use a nice long extension with a T30 Torx bit and then just loosen it with my ratchet. And then remove the rest of it with just by hand. This is where it could get a little messy. Well, it is going to get a little messy.
I still have the drain pan positioned underneath. And I'm just going to try and pry this off by hand, carefully. And just let it drain out into the pan below.
But before I put the new oil filter in, I'm just going to make sure the housing is all cleaned out, all nice and clean too. And then same thing with the oil filter cap. I'm going to remove the O-ring on it and I'll be getting rid of that. And the kit comes with a new one. So I'll put that one on, but I'm going to get this all cleaned up first. And then with some new engine oil, just going to put a little bit of oil on that O-ring. And the drain plug and the oil filter cap's ready to reinstall. I'm going to lightly coat this with new engine oil. And this end will be the end that goes into the engine, with this end facing out. Just like that. Just cover back into position. And with all 3 of those bolts tightened up, but not over tightened, I'm just going to spray down this whole area with some brake cleaner just to get all the oil off the bottom of the engine. and then just reinstall the drain plug with that new crush ring. So with the drain plug tightened up, it says here in the manual that it takes 2 liters with the oil filter change. So I'm going to get it pretty close to that and then fire it up and run it and then check it again and top it up as I need to. And then when you check the oil level, make sure this is fully screwed in, and you just want to keep it in between the hash marks. So before I reinstall all these side panels and put it all back together, I'm just going to start it up and let it run and check for leaks. And in particular, you want to check for leaks around this, just to make sure everything's back together properly and you've got no oil leaks, and obviously the drain plug. Okay, the oil change part's all done. It ended up using just a little bit more than 2 liters, and that was to get it right up to the full mark. So on to the chassis greasing. There's 18 grease fittings on this. So over here on the left front, I'll show you the whole left side, and then the right side is basically the same. So you're gonna have a grease fitting on your upper control arm. So to get at these, you actually need to do like the opposite side to get the grease gun on there. Let's see if I can get this positioned so you can see the grease fitting right up in there. Then there's going to be one on each of the lower control arm bushings. So that's 2. One on your sway bar right there. Then the front lower control arm right there, and the upper right there. So that's 5 in total on the left front. So there'll be 5 on the right front as well. And then on the back, they're all on the sway bar. So we got one down here, then another one up here, and another one right there. So there'll be 3 on the sway bar links right there, and then you'll have 1 on your drive shaft right there, and then there'll be another one up on this one too that I'm gonna have to get from the other side. So you got 8 in total on the back and 10 in total on the front. So just use whatever kind of grease you got or you want. I chose to use synthetic grease, the same stuff I use on my truck and my snowmobile. So there you go, guys. I hope that helped you out for doing an oil change and lube job on your 2021 Can-Am Outlander. This is an 850, but I'm sure the 650 and the 1000 are the same. So if you like this video, give it a like. Subscribe to my channel if you want to see more content on the Can-Am Outlander. I just got this about a month ago, so I'm going to be making more videos in the future. And like I said, I did the first oil change at 450 kilometers, so that was probably a little bit early, but it's better to be safe than sorry. The oil change kit wasn't too much money. I think it was like $55. And I'll probably do another oil change at 1000, and then I'll probably let it go longer after that. But more importantly than the oil change, I think, is to keep on top of the greasing. Really, especially the sway bar bushings up in there, they really start to get a little sticky and squeaky. So give it a little shot of grease every so often, and it'll really prolong the life of it and have your suspension working a lot nicer too. So once again, thanks for watching. Subscribe to my channel, and Biker Mike out.